Hi, welcome back to Rusted Junk Garage. Today we're going to get you caught up on the Junker 55 Chevy truck project. So follow along with me and let's get started. Okay, starting with the front end here, we've got all the lowering springs in, new drag link, new tie rod ends in, even got the new correct shocks. And finally, after dealing with that outfit, they sent me the correct ones. They're way too shiny for this truck, so hopefully they work out real well. Had to do a little bit of work on the exhaust. After lowering it 3 inches, the exhaust hung too low, so I thought I'd pull the tail or the head pipe off here and take it over to the muffler shop, have them bend me up one about 3 inches shorter. But since someone welded it to the exhaust manifold, that didn't happen. So I had to manually, with a hacksaw, cut a piece out and come up with this high-tech clamp there to raise this thing up. So that should all be real good. So custom exhaust for 60 bucks. Yeah, that's real good. Anyway, the back end is lowered. We have the springs, the lowering springs on the truck. Remove the bed, all new springs, all new bushings, the new shocks are on there, so that's all back on. And that went relatively well. I was under a time frame to do it with the help I had to get the bed off, so I didn't get a chance to video that. Been in to the interior here on the old girl. Got the gauge cluster out and wanted to check the speedometer since it wasn't working. It was disconnected at the back here, so I didn't know whether the speedometer unit was bad. I tested the speedometer on the bench and I got some crummy video of that I'll try to put in here. Also, I had to put in a new fuel gauge. The truck has a new gas tank and sending unit in, but the fuel gauge was not working. Have the glove box out of it for access to the heater. This is where the heater controls go. Took the heater out, and I have that on the bench over there. I'll show you that in a second. It was obviously leaking. Well, anyway, the whole thing, the heater box, the fan motor, everything was a total mouse house. What a terrible job cleaning that up. Anyway, got that all cleaned up, and new cables have showed up for it. I'm just waiting for their sleeves that connect the vent and the blower box to the actual heater box. Of course, those are back ordered, so we're waiting on that. Went through the controls, got the switch working. Everything's good there. Took apart the cold air vents here, and those all function nicely now. Gonna have to replace, I got 1 or 2 dash lights that aren't working, so perfect time to do that. In addition, also got the wipers working. Figured out this switch here, and then this is a cable switch that goes to the back of the wiper motor. And I've got those functioning. The transmission over on this side here, it was broken off. The arm was broken off, so I repaired that, and hopefully that's going to hold, and I'll test on that a little bit later, but that's what's going on in here. The clutch is out of the truck. The clutch slipped so bad, so I took that out, pulled the flywheel. I did a in-garage resurfacing on the flywheel. It cleaned up real nice, so it should be good. the first clutch they sent me was the wrong one. So sent that back, and I do have the right clutch now, so that's going to be going together. So anyway, that kind of updates you on the interior. And we got our little buddy there. When I'm not screwing around with rusted junk, I guess I'm looking for that feller. Anyway, that takes care of the interior. Got the new rusted junk garage stickers. If you need one of those, leave me a comment. We'll see about getting you one. All right, let's go over to the bench here. The heater box, like I said, this was a total mouse house. I mean, packed totally, and along with the heater control. This is what they call the deluxe heater, and the heater hoses here, they're tied together there, as you can see. So, you know, obviously there was some leakage in there. So I figured I was going to be either rebuilding the heater core, or or trying to buy a new one. A radiator shop will do that for you. I don't know the cost on that. And I thought I'd have to replace the water control valve here. But I worked on that and got it all freed up. And so I pressure tested both of these with the compressed air, and then I shot them down with a soapy solution, Windex type stuff. And I saw no leaks. The water control valve is connected to the heater core by this elbow hose here. And if you look at the one that came out of there, I think that might have been where the leak was coming from. So pretty happy about that. We'll see if it doesn't leak. I'm hoping that's going to be the case. But to buy one of these, there's a place that's repopping these, and I think they want like $265, but of course they're not available. So we're going with this, and hopefully that works out for us. Got all new 3 new heater cables that I'll put on when I put this thing back together. But again, waiting for the boots that tie these together. Do have new defroster hoses that go up to the defrosters. Went through the heater control unit. The switch wasn't working. I cleaned all that up and got the 2-speed switch working, and all the controls work freely now. So that should go back together pretty decent. Speedometer, pulled the gauge cluster out. Got the new fuel gauge in there. Here's the temp and the amp gauge here. That has to go back in. Of course, the speedometer, I bench tested it. It works real good. So I don't know why it was disconnected, but I do, after a little investigation, I figured that out. Here's the transmission. It's a Muncie SM318 3-speed. And right here is where the speedometer cable hooks up. And there is a drive gear that's on the tail shaft, and then a driven gear that turns, and that in turn turns this, which turns your speedometer cable. Well, the drive gear on the shaft is totally just stripped out. So after a bunch of searching, I finally found one down in Vancouver, Washington, at a place called Garage Motorsports. Great people to work with down there. They had a used one, and that'll be here tomorrow. So I'm gonna have to take that tail shaft off that transmission and press that new bearing on there and get that back in the truck, and we should have a working speedometer. Again, Garage Motorsports in Vancouver. If you're needing something, give those fellows a call. They're real great. I dealt with a nice lady, Sue. She's really good to work with, and took real good care of me. Here's the new heater ducting for the defroster. Here's the blower motor. Again, this total freaking mouse house. Cleaned it all out, lubricated the motor. Everything's good. That all works. The rest of the heater and stuff is there. Brand new clutch, finally the right one. The first one they sent me was a 10.5-inch clutch. This uses a 10-inch clutch with the shorter fingers on the pressure plate and the longer throwout bearing. The other one was opposite, longer fingers, shorter throwout bearing. It did not work, so a little bit of a delay there. So that's kind of where we are with the project right now. In a little bit of a holding pattern on those whatchamacallits for the heater, the sleeves, darn it, to get those in, and then we can start putting this thing back together and get everything going. For the doors, the new Rusted Junk Garage logos are in. I had some made, and they're a stencil mask or a negative, and that'll be another video, but I had to have them reverse one so they look the same on both sides. So got those up here in these tubes, and we got a little bit of the one shot and a couple different colors in here and some brushes. So that's going to be a neat project to do on this. So that's where we are with the Rusted Junk Garage truck right now. So, oh, another thing, since I have the drive line out, gosh, I'm thinking, I guess I should put some U-joints in it. Those seem to be working okay, but they're not too expensive, so I'll do that. Here's the old clutch. The reason it slipped is pretty self-explanatory. If you look at the pressure plate, half of the fingers are collapsed, so when you give the old 6-cylinder the throttle before, she'd wind up and not go anywhere. You know, this thing is, it produced 109 horsepower when it was new, so she probably makes about 65 now, but that's okay, you know. So there's where we are on the project. Gonna be poking along with it here. It just seems like one thing has led to another. And again, if a $7 part seems to be kind of holding me up a little bit here. So got some other things to do. Got the hubcaps in for it. Still waiting on the trim rings, and gonna do maybe a little pinstripe work on those wheels there. We'll see. Not 100% sure on that. So we'll go cross that bridge when we get there. So anyway, in the box there is the new floor mat, and actually, gee, what's pretty cool about this, having that access panel there, you just unscrew it with the clutch head screws, and the transmission and stuff is right there. So it made it real easy for one guy to pull that tranny out with the help of my transmission jack there. So anyway, that's kind of the update on the 55 Chev truck. We kind of like the way it's sitting 3 inches down. Sure, I'd like to go lower, but you know, I'm not into notching frames and that kind of stuff. Still got to get the garage plumbed 220 so I can run my MIG and TIG welder, and need to do that yet. So anyway, there we are. Thanks for joining us. That's an update on the Junker 55 Chev truck. We still got a lot to do. Like I said before, one thing led to another, and we just keep plugging away. So again, thanks for joining us. We'll catch you on the next video. If you're looking for some Pacific Northwest flavor YouTube channels, go check out Desert Rat 2000. Mike, he's a local fella here. He does lots of neat stuff, so go check his channel out. I think you'll enjoy some of the things that he's doing out there. And also he does have, he's got a couple old trucks. I think he's got a 55 Chev, and he's got a 51 Chevy or GMC. But so go check his channel out. You'll like what Mike does.